Hey folks, welcome to the Frontier Western Heritage Channel. I'm Todd Kessner out here on the gun range outside of Bozeman, Montana. Today we're going to do a second trial on the 1886 Winchester. This rifle is actually an 1986 was when it came out, Browning, and the Centennial gun. John Browning is the one that invented this rifle for Winchester, and Browning brought it out again 100 years after the original model. It's in 4570, and if you watched the video a year ago when we were sighting this thing in, trying to work up loads in black powder, you would have seen that I was really puzzled that I had a lot of bullets keyholing through the target, going sideways, totally unstable. The speculation was maybe I had too small of a bullet. The other possibility is I was pushing it way too hard. And then when I finally got to 1.5 Swiss, I was able to get a good pattern right where I wanted it to be, and everything going through straight without keyholing. So now I've got a Montana precision swaging bullet that's 459, so I went up 1,000th, and I'm going to try 5 different loads here. I have a couple of loads in 1F. I did both old Eynsford and Goex, and I know some of you are going to lose your minds that I am using 1F powder in the 4570. But I'm also going to try 2F, because last time I went too fast is when I really started losing that accuracy. So I've got 2 rounds that will be 70 grains of Goex and 70 grains of old Eynsford in the 2F. And then just to make you people who are absolutely dedicated to 3F happy, I put some 3F Goex as well. That would be the 5th test. So let's give this thing a try, see if we can do better than last year, and see if I can keep these bullets stable. And maybe it's a little bit over bore diameter that's going to make the difference with this lead lubricated black powder cartridge. So let's give it a try. All right, well here's the 1F 70 grains Goex. All right, let's go see what we got. Well, hey, I tell you what, other than being low, this is pretty good news right off the bat. If you saw that video a year ago, I would have had 2 going through the paper sideways. Instead, I got about a 6-inch group. Was nothing to write home about, but they're going through the paper straight, and could be a little variability on me too. It's hard to say. So other than these guys going a little low, I'm pretty darn happy with it. I didn't get any wild ones out of a clean barrel. A lot of times the first shot is going to go wild because you got a clean barrel, and then the next 4 have to plow through fouling, black powder fouling. But shoot, not all bad. Not all bad. Pretty good start compared to last year. So I'm pretty happy with it. We're going to go to the 1F old Eynsford, excuse me, next, and let's give that a try. I'm going to have to swab out that barrel real quick, just so that I'm not continuing to foul that, and each different load is getting a fair shake at what it's really doing. So I'll go run a patch through it, and we'll throw some 1F old Eynsford down here next. All right, we're looking at the 1F granulation again, but this is with the 70 grains of Old Eynsford. So let's see how this one works. I'm kind of hoping Old Eynsford isn't the powder that's the best in the world here, the most accurate, simply because when I run out, I'm afraid I'm not going to get any more. But but I wanted to test it anyway. It's a little bit faster powder. So let's see what this Old Eynsford does in a 1F. All right, let's go take a look. Well, hey, I'm liking this. I am going back and forth a little bit, and honestly, that's open sights on even on that lead sled. I feel like I'm probably just a little off on holding that sight exactly in the same place every time. But you know, other than being low, I got 5 rounds that look pretty darn good. I'm pretty tickled with that actually, and again, they're going through straight, so even better news. Now this is the 1F powder, so this is a slow. I'm throwing them up here pretty slow, which is probably why they're a little bit lower. So rather than adjusting that ramp on there, I'm going to see what the 2F does and see if that lifts it a little bit, and it still keeps these things from tumbling. And so right now, I don't know if it's going with that 459 bullet or if it's going with 1F powder, because we've done both. We dropped her down to 1F. Last year, the smallest we used was that Swiss 1.5, and that gave me the best results. So we'll find out in the next one with 2F powder. If the groups open up, or if I get any keyholing, then it's velocity. If they don't, then I had too small of a bullet last year. So let's take another look at her and see what we can get done. Okay, so I'm on the 2F this time. It's Goex 2F powder and 70 grains. So we will see here what kind of results I get with a little bit faster powder. Well, you guys that didn't believe me on the velocity thing last time around, I rest my case. So I moved this thing up to 2F, 70 grains of 2F, and I am all over the darn place. I got one here, got one here, got one here, got one here. I mean, this isn't even a group. I know that I struggled a little bit with getting the thing where I wanted with the lead sled. And the reason I'm using that is because if you fire 25 of these things, you start taking it a little hard, and then you start throwing your shots off. But again, a 1 in 20 twist on that big bullet, stabilize that big bullet coming out of there, 405 grain lead bullet, you start throwing that too fast, and the rifling's not grabbing it as good as it could, and it starts to open up on you. At least we're not tumbling, but this is absolutely nothing to get excited. Look at that. I mean, that's like a 18-inch 2-foot group, and opened the thing wide open. So let's try that 2F. My ear thing's keeping me from moving here. Let's try that 2F Olde Eynsford. See what it does. But you guys don't believe in 2F, look back at that group, and then look at that group. So velocity's going up. Group is opening up. I'll go swab that barrel again. We'll do one more 2F, and then I'm gonna throw that 3F through here just for kicks, because I'm wondering if I'm gonna hit the plywood with that. This time we're looking at 70 grains. All of these rounds are 70 grains. We're looking at 70 grains of 2F Olde Eynsford with this 405 grain bullet at 4.59. So we'll give this one a try. Okay, let's go take a look. Hey, the sun's out. There's a little blessing here in this cold wind. Well, look at what we got here. This is the 2F, 70 grains 2F Olde Eynsford. And I was getting a little cocky, wasn't I, with my predictions about the velocity in this bullet and in the whole 9 yards here. I got 4 shots. This is by far my best group. It's better than the 1F. That was pretty good, only low. I'm only counting 4 shots though. So I'm gonna have to look on the film. We got a little camera sitting up here. I'm gonna look on the film and see where the 5th shot went. It's entirely possible it busted through somewhere in here, because 2 of them were touching. Maybe 3 of them went through there. Maybe, I don't know if I'm that lucky or not, but goodness sakes. I can hardly complain. Open sights, black powder cartridge in windy conditions at 100 yards. I shouldn't be complaining about that one bit at 30 degrees and wind blowing. So let's try that 4F, or excuse me, 3F, not 4F. I'm not getting that crazy. We're going to try that 3F in Goex, and just to take a look and see if you 3F guys that are so committed to that powder might have something going here. So let's take a look. All right, so here is the 3F Goex, 70 grains. And I am not going to make any bold predictions, so let's just see what happens. All right, that's the last volley, so let's go take a look. All right, well, here is our 3F Goex compressed 70 grains. I probably got a 0.3, 0.4 inch compression on this load, on all of them actually. And once again, we're not doing half bad with that 3F powder as far as a group goes. I'll have to watch the video that's been staring at the target this whole time. Every one of these lately has been, at least once I got up in 2F and higher, I started getting 4 easy counting ones, obvious ones in the target, and not knowing where the 5th one is, which I got a suspicion maybe the 5th one is the first one actually, and in that clean barrel under these velocities it's going someplace else. But I don't know, because here I got a decent group. I can't complain about that. I mean, that's a good group with 3F powder. Why it dropped again, I don't know. Could very likely be me. I don't know. But where's that 5th shot? But still, not a bad group. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Actually, I like the 2F group the best. I just have to move the sights up a little bit, but that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So I can do some work with a 3F load and have a pretty zippy round. None of them are keyholing. So I would say that you guys that wrote comments on the one a year ago about the bullet being a little bit too small were right. Because I'm throwing these things at the same velocities as a year ago, and I have not had a single keyhole in any of them. So I got a stable bullet coming out of this thing. I think your theory that I should go to a 4.59 or bigger was right. 4.59 seemed to do the trick. So I'm pretty tickled with that, and I have to make a decision here on which one I'm going to go with, and got a few choices. But I have solved the problem of keyholing and tumbling rounds this way. So 100 yards, not all bad. So let's go back to the bench and kind of wrap this thing up. Well, folks, we had some pretty successful runs with this 4570 and the 1886 Browning that I've had for almost 30 years, and this gun has taken like I said last year, this gun has taken every big game animal in Montana except for bighorn sheep, because I just can't seem to get drawn. So took mountain goat with it, took moose with it, elk, mule deer, everything that's kind of a common game animal. Can't get drawn for bison either. That's like a 1 in a billion. But and I'd use the sharps on that one. But this gun is not a hobby. I mean, this is the gun I've taken, I don't know, 18 antelope with this gun, and pretty pleased with what we got here today with black powder loads. I usually shoot smokeless out of this just for the convenience of it, being out in the cold and snow and rain with the black powder fouled barrel. It's not something I want to do all the time, so I shoot smokeless. The smokeless rounds are so stout that I used to have a tang sight back here, and I would flip it up for 200 yards and then use my buckhorns for 100 yards. But when this thing recoiled with smokeless, that tang sight was digging under the side of my cheek. I'll put a picture up on the screen. And it tore me up bad enough that I finally had to take the tang sight off. I could probably live with it with black powder, but with smokeless, it was just tearing my face every time I fired this gun. So I'm back to just buckhorns and then a 9-inch elevation at 200 yards with smokeless rounds. But I want to shoot black powder and another Texas pig hunt. Hopefully we get a lot better video than we did last year, so we can share it with you, and we'll see how that goes. But I think I got some good answers here. Kind of know what I'm doing. Load up some more shells and maybe try to zero this in just a hair more and get ready to go to Texas. So if you like this video, I just ask you to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share this with anybody who might be interested in Old West firearms. And once again, from outside of Bozeman, Montana, and thanks for coming. Checking out the my glasses are frogging up, and now for some unforeseen reason I'm way too high. What in the heck? Interesting. We're going to try that 4F in Goex. Said it again.